Coming up in this latest set of Gran Turismo 7 weekly challenges, we begin at Suzuka Circuit for one of GT7's latest events, of course from 1.63, the Japanese FR Challenge 450. After that we head off-road once again, this time for the World Rally Challenge Group B at Sardinia Windmills, before heading over to the Nordschleife for this special event this week, the return of the Skyline GTR 1 make. After that, it's time to head over to Dragon Trail Gardens. This time around, it's going to be for the Hypercar Parade, an event we haven't seen in a fair amount of time. And to finish off, it's the Group 1 Prototype Series, of course, Grand Valley Highway 1. But before we get into this video, I'm trying to get this channel to 70,000 subscribers. So if you want to stay up to date with everything GT7 and motorsport gaming related, then feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. Anyway, let's get to it. So here's an overview for October week 2 then. This will end on the 16th of October 2025 at midnight wherever you may be. The first event is one of the latest events to GT7, Suzuka Circuit and the Japanese FR Challenge 450. We then head over to Sardinia Windmills for the World Rally Challenge before going over to the Nürburgring Nordschleife for the third return of the Skyline GTR 1 make. After that, it's the Hypercar Parade at Dragon Trail Gardens, and then to finish off, it's going to be Grand Valley Highway 1 with the Group 1 Prototype Series. As for rewards this week, for completing one event is 100,000 credits, for 3 events it's 200,000 credits, and for completing all 5 is the 6-star roulette ticket, one of the best rewards available in GT7. So let's go ahead then and get started with our first event of the week. This is the Japanese FR Challenge 450 at Suzuka Circuit, of course aimed at 450 pp Japanese FR cars. So my car of choice here would be, of course, the Nissan Fairlady Z, or the 350Z, whatever you want to call it. Now, in terms of the event itself, it's a 2-lap sprint with a total of 8 cars on the grid, very much a starter event to the game. However, it's not always going to be easy. There's a decent amount of cars that the event can actually choose from. Some can be incredibly overpowered. Now, thankfully, that wasn't going to be the case for this run, and in fact, it went incredibly smoothly. I didn't really have to worry about too much in terms of getting my way through the grid. It was just all about keeping it as clean as possible, and of course picking the cars off one by one. So this is very much a luck based event. Of course, as always, I'm running the game on the highest difficulty and as close to any recommendation as possible, and well, thankfully this one went rather quite smoothly. However, as mentioned though, your experience may differ depending on what cars GT7 decides to put in for you. However, we took a very easy first place in the end and got our first tick of the week. Now, in terms of the payout for this one, 60,000 credits, of course with that clean race bonus, and 7.2 miles travelled with a bonus of 100,000 credits. So on to the second event of the week then. This is the World Rally Challenge, this time at Sardinia Windmills. Now, in terms of the AI opponents you're up against, they are going to be Group B rally cars. And honestly, they are pretty much entirely stock, just running dirt tyres, and that's really all you're going to need here. As for my car of choice, it would be the Group B Nissan GTR, completely bone stock, just running those dirt compound of tyres. In terms of the event then, it's a 5-lap sprint race with a total of 12 cars on the grid, 11 AI up in front of you, and honestly they are incredibly inconsistent. In fact, I think you'll probably take the lead with no issues whatsoever, and if you're running anything less than the hard difficulty, you'll probably be in the lead by the end of lap 1. Now really there's only a couple of cars you might have to watch out for here, and that is mainly the Group B cars. Of course, I'm talking about the real world Group B, the 205 and the Quattro. Those are incredibly quick compared to the rest of the field, but still, if you're kind of confident enough on the dirt, you shouldn't have any issue whatsoever getting up past them and of course taking the lead. I took the lead at the end of lap 2 and went on to take an incredible gap of way over 28 seconds as we came up across the line. Overall, I really enjoyed my time here, but unfortunately GT7's dirt AI is just so bad. In terms of the payout for this one, 97,500 credits and 10 miles travelled. So the third event of the week is the special event for this week. This is the third time that we've seen the return of the Skyline GTR 1 make, this time taking place at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Now I do have to admit here, this might be one of the single fastest events I've ever seen in GT7. It's insane how high speed it is. It's a single lap sprint with a total of 10 cars. Of course your regulations are any of the Skyline GTR badged vehicles, so no R31 for this one. In terms of rewards, 65k for first, 39k for second and 26k for third. Main rival cars are a bunch of very highly modified Skyline GTRs. BOP is off, car used as a garage car and car settings are allowed, with no mechanical damage and both penalties set to off, so you don't need to worry about those during the event. My car choice here would be the Nismo R32 GTR. So it's time to strap in and actually get into the event then. So this is going to be a single lap sprint, a total of 10 cars and 9 AI up in front of you. Now they are very split up in terms of the cars. You're going to be picking them off one by one. However, it is worth noting these are some incredibly quick vehicles. In fact, so fast, this might be the single fastest special event I've ever seen. It flew by, and honestly the speed that you need to keep is absolutely insane. Really, it was an absolute blast to hit up the Nordschleife and see all these incredibly high tuned Skyline GTRs. So just pick the AI off one by one. In terms of my build here, I had most of my advantage in a straight line, where through the corners it was a little bit on edge. And now obviously we need to move up into at least the top 3 to get our tick this week, which we did, and then of course we tried to chase down first place, but they were long gone. That R34 had some incredible pace, so unfortunately in the end we had to settle for P2, but we did get our third tick of the week. As for the payout, 39,000 credits, unfortunately not getting a clean race bonus with that one. A total of 13 miles travelled, and of course we're then going to get our daily, which was a 3-star, and for completing 3 events this week, 200,000 credits. So our fourth race of the week is the Hypercar Parade, this time at Dragon Trial Gardens. In terms of the actual event itself though, these are typically super easy since there's no PP limit actually in place. As for my car of choice here, I went for the Corvette CX. So let's get into the event then. There's a total of 6 laps here with a total of 16 cars on the grid, 15 AI made up of some of Gran Turismo 7's fastest road cars. Now really there's only one car you need to keep an eye on, and that is the Aston Martin Valkyrie. That thing is seriously quick. However, with the Corvette CX here, we are of course quicker. Now in terms of this car here, I'm running it on Sports Softs, which is a bad idea for over 2,000 brake horsepower, so it felt like absolute junk to drive. But in terms of getting the event beat, well, it was rather quite easy. Within a few laps we would go ahead and take the lead, and from there we'd just go ahead and keep it as smooth as possible. Definitely a very on edge drive, but finally made use of a car that I didn't necessarily like too much. Now in terms of the event though, it can feature rain typically later on in the final few laps, which can make the track extremely greasy and extremely difficult, so just bear that one in mind. So there we go then, that is going to be our 4th tick of the week, and overall definitely one of the more laid back events this week. 95,000 credits without the clean race bonus and 16.3 miles travelled. So let's get into the final event of the week then. This is Grand Valley Highway 1 with the Group 1 Prototype Series. Now of course this is aimed at Group 1 vehicles, very much a broad range of cars here. Now you're looking at the likes of Group C's, LMP1s, Hypercars, you name it, it's going to be in this event, which means overall there's some incredibly quick cars here. My car choice would be the Porsche 962C, of course the one from the viewers campaign. Definitely not the best choice overall. It doesn't really feature as much downforce as a lot of the other cars, but it certainly is incredibly quick in a straight line. So we're going to be starting at P20. Of course there's another 19 cars up ahead of us over this 10-lap race. Now it does feature tyres and fuel, but honestly on a set of racing mediums I was able to go all the way to the end. Unfortunately though, the pace drop off right there would be incredible. Now there's a few cars I need to make note of here, and that is mainly going to be the 908 and the R92 Nissan. Both of those cars are extremely quick, mainly that Peugeot. If you've raced any of the other Group 1 prototype events, you'll know exactly what I mean. That 908 is just so good on tyres, fuel and overall speed that it tends to be about 30 seconds up the road from P2 almost all the time. It's so incredibly quick, and especially when we've got something much older here like the 962C, it's incredibly difficult to catch it on a track that really suits it. In the end, I got the gap down to under 4 seconds, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. So we had to settle for P2 once again, but we still get our 5th tick of the week. In terms of the payout, 96,000 credits without the clean race bonus and 31 miles travelled. We of course get our 6-star roulette ticket reward, so let's go ahead and open up this week's rewards then. So of course, as always, we're going to start off with our daily driving ticket. Now in terms of this one, it was a 3-star, which is the worst award that I can actually be given at level 50, so extremely unfortunate here, and we're actually going to get a pot off of this. This is going to be a suspension setup, this time for the Volvo V40 T5. Definitely not the most useful item, I'll be totally honest there. So for completing one event then, that is going to be 100,000 credits, taking our total upwards of almost 99 million. Of course, for completing 3, it's 200k, just taking us into 99 million. And of course, after that is going to be the 6-star roulette ticket reward. Of course, this can give you some of the best prizes in Gran Turismo 7, including some extremely expensive cars and upwards of 1 million credits. Now, in terms of the prizes I want here, more than likely I just want the Red Bull, and well, I'm going to get quite lucky. That's exactly what I got. This is going to be the Red Bull X 2014 standard with over 1000 PP rating, so no complaints from me there. And with that, we complete another set of weekly challenges. I definitely think this one is going to be worth your time. It's not too long overall, and there's some great prizes on offer. A massive thank you to all of my channel members listed on screen now, and a huge thank you to you guys watching at home. Have a fantastic start to your weekend, guys. Take care. Peace.